Hey, Muffin here. So I had to redo the intro a little bit, primarily just with the music, and decided to add a few clips just from the recent movie we have done. If you hadn't seen any of it, it's all available. I think we now have about 3 episodes so far, working on the 24th. Anyway, enough about the intro. Into today's vid and the challenge we're doing, which is the MAUS versus the TOG. Now, in this first match, you may be wondering, well, why is there only 2 MAUS tanks versus, 4 FV183s? And you can't really do a 1-for-1 when you're doing a heavy versus destroyer or a different type of tank, because it kind of is a pretty different dynamic. The MAUS has way more hit points, and especially if you've got multiple MAUS tanks, that's a lot of extra hit points compared to what a FV has, and a lot more armor that the FV's got to get through. Tank destroyers typically don't have as much hit points as heavy tanks, neither do they have as much armor most of the time as heavy tanks. So this is not something you can really do, a 7 versus 7. So we're gonna see how many MAUS tanks or how many FV tanks are needed to take on so many MAUS tanks, vice versa, whichever. First map here on Copperfield. So far, I'm starting to think after this first match, okay, we definitely need more MAUS tanks. And it actually kind of surprised me that the MAUS tanks didn't do a little bit better. We run into this sometimes. So we decided to change up the balancing a little bit more. We added more MAUS tanks. We've got more FVs joining us. Almost about a full room here. Let's see. So we've got 2 for those 6 FVs versus 5 MAUS tanks. And you'll have to let me know in the description below what you would think would be balanced in this situation, whether 7 versus 7 would have been balanced, or what your opinion would be in the comments below. Now, the FV183, it is such a fun tank, but hands down one of the worst tanks at tier 10. All of its other characteristics outside of the amount of damage it can do per shot is just terrible. It's not very maneuverable. Yeah, I think it's got about a 90-degree rotating turret. It doesn't have great accuracy. I think it has among some of the worst camo rating in the game. It just, like I said, no gun depression. Like, it really does not have a whole lot going for it, except just for the amount of damage. It does also have pretty good penetration as well. Now, the MAUS tank, a lot of hit points, one of the most well-armored tanks in the game, just all around. 240 in the front of the turret, 200 in the front, but that upper glacial part of the tank is incredibly strong because of its slope. Its sides are pretty flat, same with its rear, but still has a good amount of armor and excellent for side scraping. And wow, what a great shot. That's where the FV can be quite lethal, is it has really good penetration with its standard AP round and decent, pretty good penetration for its high penetrating, high explosive shell. Now, we did a vid of 7 KV2s versus a MAUS. And these derp cannons can be very, very lethal because you don't even really need a penetrating shot some of the time. You can just damage your opponents with the splash damage that these derpy cannons can do, and it'll still shave off a good amount of damage. So these MAUS tanks even though really big and slow, really have to be careful of that. And the FV players have to be a little particular about where and when to shoot, because if they miss, they've got that really long reload. So really fun, good subscriber request. Very interesting in seeing how these two would compare and do against each other. Now we still have what looks like the FVs. So far with 5 versus 6, the FVs still win. Honestly, very, very impressive. Good job by both sides. We're now going to go in. I had asked the subscribers who were helping in the room, and they thought that this was the balance of doing just one extra 183 versus an amount of, like an X amount of MAUS tanks. So going into the last round here, we're going to just see what happens. Both not very fast tanks. FV's pretty slow. And typically tanks that don't have a lot of armor have better maneuverability, but the fact it's a tank destroyers are kind of in their own category sometimes. Don't have the best of either, but they do shine when it comes to their cannons. That is the strong point of the tank destroyer lines. So I want to thank Garion so much. Thank you for helping put these replays together. It always is super helpful. So a huge shout out there, along with the subscribers who help and join with these awesome vids. Now, if any of you guys want to help with these, everyone is more than welcome to join the party, these rooms that we put together. Join the Discord, get the movie crew roll. That way, you know when we do the rooms, as I do make the announcements on Discord. Still able to get a pretty good shot, and even though I believe that was actually just splash damage. Was that 550 or 560 damage? I mean, that's still a lot for not even penetrating. An excellent shot there. You can just see how these FVs can really just rip apart these MAUS tanks, even though they have so much armor and hit points. The derpiness of the FV183 just is really draining their hit points. So far we've got 2 FVs down and no MAUS tanks have fallen yet. Now the MAUS does have a much quicker reload here. Wow, what a painful shot in the side of that MAUS tank. So the MAUS team looks like they have been able to make a comeback and win. Nice little drop off the cliff and quick shot from that MAUS right into the FV. This would be scary to see, being the FV. And that is it. So quite a different thing to have happened, where not a single MAUS tank died. Still only 1 extra FV. But hope you guys enjoyed the vid. This is the Muffin here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.